G'day everyone, welcome back to AHP. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. You want to thumbs up the video, you want to subscribe, of course I'd appreciate all that. Firstly, I just want to thank everybody that watched my two-part rabbit hunting mayhem series. I got a lot of really kind messages from people, and I just want to say thank you for that, because that was something that really, whilst 1 million people haven't watched it and not even close to, the process of putting that together was super fun. In a previous life, about probably 16, 17 years ago, I started off filming some weddings. Word went around, I started filming for friends and family. Then all of a sudden I was getting people that I didn't even know ringing me up wanting me to film weddings. Obviously once I started the podcast and I got promoted at my job, I really couldn't do anything like that anymore. We didn't have enough time. But I do love the video making process, and it seems you guys left me some fantastic comments, to be brutally honest. And to be honest, it was kind of touching that you guys really enjoyed that, Australian outback, documentary style hunting, narration, music, and me really putting the effort in. I knew I had it in me to do that, but I just knew I got a bit lazy and didn't want to edit to that degree, because as you guys know, it does take a lot of time. It took me about 16 to 17 hours per video to do that. And you don't want to do that all the time sometimes. And by the time I finished it and uploaded it, I was probably sick of seeing it, to be brutally honest, but I did watch them just yesterday after about 3 months of not touching it. And you know what, watching it back, I thought, you know what, that's fun. That was really super fun. Some of you have asked me, well, when are you going to make some more? Absolutely we are. We were supposed to go away about 3 weeks ago, but due to COVID, some really bad rain, we got washed out, but we didn't go, we postponed it, and we're going to be going on August 21st to the 25th. We might do some fox calling, we're definitely going to do some long range bunny busting, we're going to do some trajectory validation to make sure the guns are shooting well, and it's going to be a freaking killer weekend. So stay tuned for the first part, probably late August, if not around earliest September, maybe the 5th. Just give me a week or two to get back and start that editing, because it does take a lot of time, guys, to edit like that. But again, I just want to thank all your comments you make. Without you guys, I wouldn't be doing it. And I do it to look back on some of my hunting trips and say, wow, man, I had a smile on my face the whole time, just hanging out with friends, enjoying it. And it was really good. I want to thank my mate Mark, who invited me down there to do that. He's going to be coming again. Some of you guys did ask about his 223. So yeah, we're going to do a lot more of that as well, because it was the first trip. I guess he wanted to give me a good experience. So I'm going to film him. We're going to get him shooting some rabbits as well. We're going to have, man, it's going to be awesome. Some fox calling. I did see a bunch of foxes there last time, but didn't click on that I should probably film it. So we're going to do that as well. So again, thank you for everyone that watched it, that sent me kind messages, that left kind comments. You guys are the best, and thank you very much for that. So firstly, before we start talking about my new rifle, the Bergara B14 HMR, I wanted to just discuss a few things about how I came to getting this rifle. So firstly, I bought a Tikka about 3 months ago, a Tikka T3X 300 Winchester Magnum. I took it to the awesome Jeff Borg out here near Penrith, far western Sydney. He's a gunsmith, to get it threaded. I sort of realized that the Tikka was not a true long action, but I thought there was an easy way to get around it. I wanted to shoot the 208 grain ELDM. Now, because the 208 grain is a fairly big bullet, you need to seat them out a lot further to get them closer to the lands. Now, on the Tikka, the magazine length is only 3.340. So they were going to have to be seated extremely deeply for the Tikka, which is weird, because when I measured the lands, I think it was about 35.85. So if I wanted to use the magazine, I had to seat them in really deeply. Otherwise, it was going to become a single shot rifle. The other issue I ran into was, even if I do want to make it a single shot rifle and seat the bullets out further, when I actually eject the cartridge, the tip was hitting the side of the receiver, because there's not really a big opening, and I couldn't eject the bullet without removing the bolt from the receiver. So that was also another problem. Pretty much if I wanted it to be a single shot, I had to seat them at around 35.25 or 35.30. And to me, I guess that really wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to load from the magazine, and even if I couldn't load from the magazine, I was hoping if I didn't need to use the magazine, that I would at least get close enough to the lands. But again, the further you seat them out, the more chance they've got of hitting the receiver, and they won't eject at all. So that was the two main issues that I had. So I thought to myself, oh, I wish I'd have known this before I bought it. Even though I sort of did, I just thought there was an easy way around it without spending lots of money. Unfortunately, that's not the case. People have said to me too, why are you running the 208 grain, just run a 180. But the thing is, there's other calibers out there like the 7mm mag, which I'll show you in a minute as well, that shoot flatter and ballistically have a better BC than the 300 Win Mag than the 180 grain bullet. Sure, they're a little bit lighter, but if you're going to shoot 300 Win Mag, in my opinion, the benefit you're going to get about 300 Win Mag is running a 200 plus grain bullet. 180 grain, I just doesn't, to me, maybe I'm concentrating too much on BC, but the BC for 180 grain bullets to me just wasn't there. I wanted to run the 208 grain ELDM, so for long range shooting, some targets, and also some hunting if I so choose. So that's why I wanted to run the 208 grain. Anyway, getting back to the point, I ended up going, oh, fuck it. So I just sold it. I lost $500. I lost $500 on that thing. I sold it. Someone that knew me wanted it, so through the show. So I ended up selling it to him. He was happy to take it, but I did lose $500 on it, which was a little bit disappointing, but I should have done my research. Anyway, that brought me onto some Instagram posts from a few people that I know. One was Graham Bishop from Taranaki Long Range Shooting. He was shooting the Bergara B14 HMR with the 6.5 Creedmoor, and also Jack, who I interviewed on the show, Jack Muir from Verified Long Range. And these guys seem to be having really good results with their 6.5 and Jack's 300 Win Mag. So I thought, you know what? I'll ring up, get a price. This was before the prices went up. I got it for about $1,950. And let me just say, this rifle is absolutely fantastic. The good part about it, let me just go run through a few parts with you. Firstly, it runs on a 26-inch barrel. The B14 HMR stands for Hunting Match Rifle. So it's a 26-inch barrel. Also on the gun, it's based on the Remington 700 Action. So that means if I ever need a rail, which I do have a 20 MOA Night Force rail on top, if I ever need a new stock, a new rail, something happens to it, I can readily and easily adapt other parts from the Remington 700 series over to this rifle. Another good part about it was the magazine. Now this runs on the Magpul long action magazines. Again, really good part about this, you can seat bullets in this magazine to 3600, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, if I recall correctly, it's very similar actually to the Tikka 300 Winchester Magnum. Basically, it's about 3590 to the lands, 3595, and I'm seating these at about 3585. So absolutely fantastic. That was a really good selling feature to me, because then I can grab the 208 grain bullet and that sits in there absolutely perfectly. So they were just a few of the features that really made me gravitate towards the Bergara B14 HMR. Now, a couple of other features I love about the rifle. Secondly is the stock. Mate, the stock is one of the best parts of this rifle. At the back, we have a fantastic spacer length of pull, which is fully adjustable. And we also have the raised adjustable cheek piece, which is also fantastic in a standard factory rifle. So that's a couple of the main reasons why I decided to opt for the Bergara B14 HMR. Again, running the 20 MOA Night Force rail. Also, on top of this one, I'm running the Delta Striker 4.5 to 30 by 56 first focal plane. I did have this scope on my 260 Remington, which is now running the Bushnell DMR2, and the 243 is running the Citron S3 first focal plane 6 to 24 by 50. So I'm actually psyched to get this out, do some load testing, and basically see how it shoots. I haven't been disappointed in it so far. Obviously just looking at it, again, haven't shot it, but that's something I'm gonna do over the next couple of weeks. And if I get the opportunity, I might even go and shoot some bunnies with this 300 Winchester Magnum, just because I want to test it out and see how it goes and see how it goes ballistically. Good part about the Hornady ELDM 208 grade is they have a BC of 697, which is absolutely fantastic. And I do know if I do decide to want to hunt game with it, there's a couple of people in New Zealand, such as Nathan Foster, who's been using a lot of ELDM match bullets for hunting with really good results. Check out his YouTube channel. He even capes the animal out to show you the devastation from ELDM match bullets. And also one of my favorite favourites too, Roger Productions, who I interviewed as well, Thane Young. He's running the 208 grain out of his 300 WSM. So that's just something to think about for you guys as well. So if you're in the market for a rifle, a long range hunting rig, this is not something you're going to hunt with per se, as in you're going to walk around with. It's just way too heavy. 26-inch barrel. And I've also got one of the cheaper, I think it's Gunbloke muzzle brakes, which I got off his website. They're only about $115. I thought I would just give them a go over the APA little bastards and see basically whether they're going to shoot well. It's going to reduce recoil enough that's going to be suitable for this particular rifle. So I'll test it out and I'll let you guys know how they go. So really, really impressed. Super slick bolt as well. Probably not as slick as probably the Tikka rifles, probably just a little bit not as slick, but still pretty workable. I'm sure over a couple of months too of working that out, that'll loosen up a bit as well and become more smoother once it just beds in. So I'm really, really happy with this, guys, and hopefully on the rabbit hunting trip coming up, you guys are going to see the 300 Winchester Magnum in progress. And I might even head down when I'm down there to do a bit of load testing. I bought this Hornady scale to go with it as well. I've also got my trigger gauge as well for trigger weight. And also too here, I also got the Lee, which is so when I go down, I can take like a little hand loading kit and I can actually load a good load for it. And then I can actually do some more loads while I'm down there. And that way I don't have to do like 2 or 3 trips or 2 or 3 trips to the range to find out what it's going to shoot. And then once I find out what shoots well, just start reloading those and we'll start shooting. So that's the Bergara B14 HMR. So next up, I'm going to talk about the Tikka 7mm Remington Magnum. All right, guys, so this is my next rifle. This is my hunting rifle. I did sell my 308 Super Lite to invest in this Tikka T3X Lite stainless in 7mm Remington Magnum. Now, in this one, I am going to be running the 162 grain ELDX, which works really well in that magazine system of the 3.340. Now, if I did want to step up to the, I think it's 175 or the 178s, that's when I am going to have to seat them a bit deeper because that seating issue comes into it again. If I do run these 162 grain ELDX, they seem to be right on the borderline for what works. I wanted a rifle that had a bit of punch. I wanted a Magnum cartridge. I want something that was just going to do the job. 308 did the job on so many deer. I'm so thankful for that rifle. But, you know, I couldn't afford to buy another one without having to sell one. So that's what I decided to do. So on this rifle, we are running the Zeiss V4. It's the 4-16 by 44. I'm also running the Tally low rings. And then just in your standard sporter plastic style stock. Now, I had a chance on a Fox with this on my last trip, but unfortunately I missed because I hadn't really done any load testing. I had some factory ammo and it just, you know, I missed it about, I don't know, 140, 150 meters. So once I get a good load for the 162 grain ELDX, I think this is going to shoot absolutely fantastically. And it also comes with the elevation turret and capped windage, which is pretty good, great for hunting. 4-16 by 44 is not too big. It's good. It's a good objective lens, and the glass on the V4, super stoked with. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm really keen to get this out and give it a go because I think, you know, it's going to be a deer slayer. I think it's going to be an absolute shooter if I do my part. Also, one thing I wanted to talk about was the weighted of the trigger. Now, this one I've left a little bit heavier. But in the other varmint rifles, which are the ones I put on the ground, I decided to change all the trigger springs from about 2.5 pound, I think, or roughly 2.5 pound if you take the screw out or all the way out, to 1.5 pound trigger pulls. And I'll tell you what, it just makes these rifles so much better to shoot. Oh, so much better to shoot. When I first started shooting this with the Fox, I forgot to change the trigger weight down, so I think it was about 3.5 pounds, and it was so heavy. I think that's why I missed. It was just so difficult. So if I had one tip for you guys as well, and I think I got this tip when I was chatting to Steve from Bolt Action Productions, is go get some 1.5 pound trigger springs and easily install them. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do it. So that's pretty much it, guys. They're my 2 new rifles that I've got. The first one is the Bergara B14 HMR 300 Winchester Magnum, and the Tikka T3X Lite stainless in 7mm Remington Magnum, which is my sporter weight rifle for all my deer hunting and walking around activities. Basically, my next video, probably you're going to see from me, is going to be the next part of the rabbit hunting series. So I guess I'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed that coming up. I hope you enjoyed the previous videos that I made, and I hope you guys have been out there shooting, having a great time with your friends and family, enjoying the outdoors and hunting. I know if you're in Victoria, I've got a bunch of mates in Victoria, you guys are doing it tough right now with all the COVID shit. And you know, the absolute poor way it's been dealt with down in Victoria. So anyway, I'm not going to go much on about that. I just hope you to tune in again on my next rabbiting hunting adventures. So until then, I'm Jason. Thanks for checking out AHP Outdoors, and I'll see you next time.